Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Tuesday, June 16th. Today we will still have strong winds to deal with across the southern half of the Great Basin, along with low relative humidity. And in areas where fuels are cured, we will see increased fire potential today over much of the southern two-thirds of Utah into central and eastern Nevada. We will continue with cooler conditions over the northern areas of the Great Basin with showers and higher humidity. This will move a little bit further east on Wednesday, but still affect northern areas of the Great Basin. Further south, winds will push east on Wednesday with the strongest winds over southern and eastern Utah with low relative humidity, again elevating fire potential. Over the last 24 hours, we've seen precipitation mainly over the northern half of the Great Basin with that strong area of low pressure moving across with only a few lightning strikes. Most of these areas of precipitation saw less than 1/10 of an inch. However, in these areas shaded in blue or green, we did see some higher amounts, over 1/3 or over 1/2 inch of precipitation. Great Basin fire activity was light across the area. We did see some new starts, generally smaller fires or a couple hundred acres over parts of Utah and back into Nevada. Over the last 7 days, precipitation has remained over much of the northern half of the Great Basin, however, did dip a little bit further south into the higher terrain of Utah. And this is generally below normal across most of Idaho. However, areas of western Idaho into northern Nevada, this precipitation was well above normal in some areas. Looking at our current ERC conditions with the warmer and drier conditions and windy conditions we've seen recently, ERCs have rebounded and are now above the 70th or 80th percentile across much of the southern two-thirds of Utah into eastern Nevada, with a couple of spots above the 90th percentile over southern areas of the basin. Further north, ERCs are starting to trend upwards over western Nevada, however will be on the downward trend still as that moisture moves across Idaho into Wyoming. Looking at some of our ERC charts over our drier areas of eastern Nevada and over southern Utah, you can see these ERCs are above normal for the time of year and in some areas above the 90th percentile. Looking at our 10-hour fuel moisture, which is more indicative of our drier grasses, you can see the very dry conditions over the southern half of the Great Basin. And again, this with our carryover fuels has been driving fire activity in many areas. However, our brush is certainly drying out over the southern half of the region. Looking at our satellite image from this morning, the strong area of low pressure in the northwest will continue pushing eastward, again continuing to bring cooler wet conditions in the north and windy and dry conditions in the south. So for later this afternoon, you can see that low moves into western Idaho, and you can see where all the dry air and windy conditions are over the southern portion of the region. So we do have a large area again of high risk to account for these windy and dry conditions. Looking at the relative humidity, today relative humidity in those dry areas will be in the single digits to low teens. And then looking at the wind image on the right, some of these brighter pinks and purples are wind gusts above 40 or 45 miles per hour. So again, another day of strong winds and low relative humidity. As we move into Wednesday, this area of low pressure moves east into the Rockies, so we will see those winds decrease over western areas, but still remain breezy over parts of eastern Utah. So we do have a couple areas of high risk for the gusty winds and low relative humidity tomorrow. Relative humidity will remain below 15% in those areas, again with those stronger winds. Wind gusts will not be as breezy as they will be today, but still between about 30 and 40 miles per hour. Further north, we'll see continued breezy conditions, but cooler and higher humidity. Looking at Thursday, we will continue to see this area of low pressure track further to the east, so winds will decrease. We still may see a few showers over central Idaho, for the most part drier conditions across the Great Basin, and we will see that fire potential start to elevate again as we see warmer and drier conditions. Temperatures will gradually increase as we move later in the week. Looking at our relative humidity on Thursday, generally below 15% over the southern half of the area and above 30% further north, but you can see how those winds decrease region-wide. Our forecast amounts of precipitation are indicated here and will be largely felt from the precipitation we saw yesterday and what we will see today across Idaho into Wyoming, but we'll also see some showers tomorrow, and those showers will also be dipping down into northern Nevada and northern Utah. As we move into Friday, we will be on a much warmer and drier pattern as we go into the weekend, so temperatures will start to climb to near to just above normal on Friday, with again increasing fire potential, generally in the low to moderate category. On Saturday, we will continue to see those temperatures heat up. We'll probably be about 5 to 10 degrees above normal. We'll see valley temperatures across most of Nevada and Utah reaching the 90s and above 105 over southern areas. Generally lighter winds though, again, and hotter temperatures. The ridge continues to build on Sunday and on Monday for again continued hot weather through the weekend into the early part of next week. You can see a lot more brown on the map and even yellow as we go later this week into Idaho, and through the weekend we will start to see those areas dry out with the much warmer and drier conditions. Forecast amounts of precipitation. This is our 7-day map. Again, most of that precipitation is going to fall today and tomorrow with drier conditions after that period. The 8 to 14-day outlook takes us from June 23rd to the 29th. Generally warmer conditions. We might start to see some areas of showers and thunderstorms develop over parts of Nevada and Utah, but right now the amount of moisture with those thunderstorms is uncertain, so they could be a little bit drier than what this map might indicate. We'll continue to watch that. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.